brag about it to everybody. Now you might say, oh, Dave, come on, that's cocky, telling people. But you know what? I'll tell you something, guys. Who in here has ever made like your first $200 and got your first $200 check from the company? You guys know, if you took that check and you went and you bragged about it to everybody you knew, like 5 of them get involved. You know that? Right? So here's what I did when I got online. See, I got online, I was working, and I managed to get to a point where I was making about $300 a day in commissions for about 90 days from 18 hours a day. Right? That's not very good hourly wage even then, because I was working a lot for that, right? But guess what I did? I call it bragging because, let's just be honest here. That's what it is. I used bragging about that story to get myself on an MLSP webinar. Tell people that, right? Then what happened? Well, I got on the MLSP webinar, and what most people do is they get online, they say this is something that really works. Well, what I did is I logged into my Aweber account, showed people that I generated 800 free leads in 90 days, right? Showed them the screenshot, and I showed them my MLSP checks, which was, it was barely anything. It was like $1,000 a month or something, right? It was 90 days. My MLSP check was like $1,000 a month. I made $800 that month for my company. And guess what happened? Every single person on that webinar was like glued to the screen, paying attention.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So guess what happened? So I did this webinar presentation where I sold that article submitter. A lot of you guys have bought that thing that I used to start generating free leads on the internet. Well, guess how many I sold? 500. On a webinar with 1,000 people. Made $25,000 in 3 days just from an article submitter. How many in here has ever heard about anything? So guess what I did? See, most people be like, oh, 25,000, sweet. That's what I did. Took a picture of the check. Now, this is probably illegal, but I took a picture of the check, and I posted it on a page in my blog with a Join Now button for MLSP.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Guess how many people that check sponsored into MLSP?
A lot.
I went to the #1 person in the top 7 days, and I've been there almost since then. Well, guess what I did when I did that? I took a snapshot of that. Right? This is kind of work. I took a snapshot thing, right? So I take a snapshot of that, right? And guess what I did? I used that to bring a bunch of people into my company. So I went from success story to story to story to story to story, and the stories just keep getting bigger. And why is that powerful? Because everybody, why did I go to Costa Rica and speak? Dave, that's stupid. Well, because you know what? #1, I like the tropics, and I don't want to be in Hawaii, because I lived there before in a van, and I've got some unpleasant jaded a little, right? Right? But you don't want to go to Costa Rica.
You can live like a
Because
king
I
for
can do live streams from my mansion out in the mountains, and that makes me a crap load of money. That helps me sponsor more, not less. The week I moved into my new house, 2 weeks ago, I sponsored 117 people in a week. How? I brag about my house. Okay? Because, guys, people want to hear your story. If you don't have a story, what do you do? Well, you share Lawrence's story. You share my story. You say, I know this guy out in the wilderness. He's in a mountain, and this guy is a wise man. And if you go up to the he won't even train you unless you stand there for 3 days.